are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts, it's like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 430 of the New York Knicks podcast, part of the Almighty Baller Podcast Network and Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Good. We have been doing a show long enough to see Carmelo Anthony go from a prize teams were trying to get out of Denver to the savior in New York for a little while, to holy crap, we gave him a no trade clause, to the answer in OKC, to the problem in OKC, to a guy the Atlanta Hawks have waived because they do not want him on the roster.
It's been a wild ride. So
It's been a wild ride in the Carmelo show.
Melo got traded today. It was to the Hawks, obviously, you just said that. And the Hawks are going to immediately waive him. They basically wanted to get rid of Dennis Schroeder. So they got rid of Dennis Schroeder and Mike Muscala and a protected 2022 first-round pick.
Yeah, well, so why? So I understand the Hawks drafted Trae Young, and so Trae Young, they're going to make him the starter right away. I also understand they got Jeremy Lin from the Nets, who coming off an injury, hasn't really been healthy in a while, but they're making him the backup point guard. How much of a cancer must Dennis Schroeder be that they tried so hard to get rid of him?
I heard he's had attitude problems, like big time. Not to mention he's making $15.5 million, which isn't great for a guy that hasn't really.
But you took on a worse contract to get rid of him. You were willing to pay double the money basically to get rid of him.
How so?
Well, you took Melo's contract. I mean, they got rid of who they traded. It was
Well, yeah, but Dennis Schroeder is 3 years.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Never mind. 3 years. Oh, is it 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense then. I was trying to figure. I mean, I was just surprised. Either way, like you'd think the Hawks could make Schroeder their back, find some way to use him because he's a productive NBA player. He's not amazing or anything like that, but like he can score 15 points a game for you, play mediocre defense.
I don't think everyone understands the how it works when you waive somebody. So
Okay.
the Hawks are going to waive Melo, which means he goes on waivers for 48 hours. And any team that wants can pay Melo $27.9 million. Now, if this 48 hours expires, and if multiple teams want Melo, the team with the worst record has priority.
Okay, so I'm assuming everyone's just going to go bidding crazy. Maybe the Sixers will use all that cap space they didn't end up using this summer to try to get Melo because he's totally worth paying $28 million at this point.
Right. In the off chance that nobody bites in those 48 hours, the Hawks are stuck with the salary, but he's no longer on the team, and any team can sign him for whatever they want. And so if they sign him for the vets minimum, a guy who's been in the league as long as him is probably like $2.7 million or something. That will come off what the Hawks have to pay. Teams can choose to pay Melo the minimum instead of the $28 million.
I mean, the rumors are he might go to the Heat with Wade, or he might go to Houston.
Yeah,
Houston
I think he
seems
goes to Houston. He wants a role where he can still start. He doesn't want a bench role. Houston lost a few of their. Ariza was starting, so they have.
Yeah, but you lose Ariza, you're like, you know who should replace Ariza? A guy that won't play defense.
Well, he's not. He doesn't play defense nearly as good as Ariza, but at least last year he was shooting a lot worse as well.
Well, the theory is everyone thinks so. Oklahoma thought they'd get Olympic Melo. Just say Melo,
or
go
at
shoot
least
3-point.
Melo.
Yeah, you figure like if all he needs to do is shoot threes and play defense or play better defense, try on defense. He doesn't have to worry about carrying the offense. You'd get Olympic Melo, and he might look pretty good.
Yeah,
it didn't work out in OKC, but I think Houston, who has trouble right now Houston can't add a lot to the team. This is a pretty you roll the dice and take Melo. You see how it goes. Why not?
Why not? After losing Ariza, they are definitely a worse team. So why not take a chance? Maybe you just outscore everybody.
Yeah, well, you're playing against the Golden State Warriors, so that's the point. You have to kind of outscore them, and you still have like a solid. I assume they're going to bring back what's his name, Capella, right? Capella is still a free agent, right?
He's a restricted free agent.
Restricted.
Nobody's
yeah.
made him an offer, but you got to think. I mean, the same thing happened with Marcus Smart, who just got 4 years at 13 per from the Celtics. They said go out and shop, we'll match. Nobody offered him anything.
Well, I think Houston actually offered him like 4 years, like 80 or 5 years, maybe 4 years 60. There's something where it was like 17 or 18 million a year. He wants 100. He wanted 5 years, 100 million, I think, which Houston hasn't come up to yet.
He got much less than that.
Well, he hasn't got anything yet. I mean, he
did. I thought Boston just offered him a 4 years.
No, I meant Capella, not Smart.
Oh, Capella.
Yeah, no. Smart took $13 million a year from Boston, and that's a pretty good deal for everyone involved.
Yeah.
But Capella's a premier defensive center in a team that really needs him to anchor their defense. They kind of have to pay him. They have to think they should pay him to keep him. But are you surprised? By the way, there's also Mike Muscala. A bunch of other guys were involved in the Melo trade. It's not that important.
Yeah, Muscala's going to Philly and
whatever. Justin Anderson to Atlanta. Who
cares? There's a bunch of stuff going on, but none of the pieces are like, wow, that's going to make a huge difference.
Are you surprised Melo has fallen this far? That like the Hawks won't even say let's keep him for a year?
No. I think obviously we thought the Knicks should have traded Melo a year earlier, but they definitely traded him just in time.
I mean the thing is, he's also a kind of player that you could see if he does not accept the reduced role, just see him falling really hard.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the skills to really be your 3 anymore. Even your 4, he doesn't have the skills to be your starting 4. But if he would go into a Vince Carter type role, he could be very helpful.
Absolutely, but it sounds like he definitely doesn't want anything to do with that.
I mean, do you think? But on the same time, is it fair to say it's probably pretty hard to accept that kind of role? Most stars don't do that. Like Dirk Nowitzki's just accepted $5 million from Dallas, which he's like the greatest teammate ever, and he's doing a reduced role. But most stars, kind of like Allen Iverson, once he couldn't start anymore, he was like, I'm done, basically.
I think it's like half and half. Like most of them start, but they take a reduced role. Like Duncan was playing 20 minutes a game his last season.
Yeah, Duncan's one of the greatest of all time. And
but I'm saying a lot of people gracefully take a back seat in their later seasons.
I mean, but a lot of players do. I mean, Jordan didn't. Like Jordan, when he came back from Washington, he needed to start and had the ball in his hands.
Yeah, no, Jordan didn't. Kobe didn't. Bird didn't. It's like, yeah, it's a mixed bag, really.
I was gonna say whatever you crap. Bird was injured, but I was gonna say
Bird could barely walk by the end of his career.
But whatever you want to say about Melo not taking this reduced role, a lot of stars have trouble doing that later in their career. But if he wants to keep his career going, he's got to accept that or just leave the league. Because I think he has one more shot in Houston or wherever he goes. And if he's just a cancer, if it doesn't work out there, teams are going to be really reluctant to bring him in.
Yeah.
You got to go hey, I can be your 6th or 7th guy and really add to your team and or just leave, or just say bye and just move on with your career. Kawhi happened also today.
Yeah, let's do some Knicks stuff first, and then we'll get back to Kawhi.
Let's get through the Kawhi stuff real quick, and then
the big moves first. Because I know people are like, this is a Knicks podcast, and now we're not talking about the Knicks.
We'll get to talking about the Knicks in a second. And
we opened with Melo because he was a big part of the Knicks for a long time.
Let's just get the Kawhi stuff out of the way. We don't need to talk about Kawhi very, very much because we're a Knicks show. We're not an All NBA. So Kawhi got traded today. The essential trade was Kawhi for DeRozan. Danny Green was involved. There's a pick involved that's going to probably translate to two. Well, it's the late first round pick, but essentially it's Kawhi for DeRozan. What do you think?
Well, Kawhi and Danny Green. Danny Green's not a bad player.
No. But the trade is really it's Kawhi for Danny Green was not. He's not the Danny Green of a couple of years ago. He wasn't a main guy for the Spurs last year.
He's not, but he can shoot well and he plays defense.
Yeah,
So
okay,
it's
fine,
not
fine.
like, I mean, if you're the Raptors, a big part of your problem was floor spacing and defense. So I don't think it's insignificant.
Okay,
I mean,
fine.
Danny Green, he shot 36% from three last season. That's not bad. He was
Right.
shooting over 40 for a while, but
And
36 is
probably
still good.
and probably for the 2019-2020 season, Danny Green will be the only person on this trade that's still on Toronto.
Yes, right now I think they have two players signed more than next year.
No, 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 no. I mean, of the two players, Kawhi and Danny Green, Kawhi will not be there the following year. Danny Green will still be there.
Oh, yeah, that's what you meant. Yeah.
Let's look at both sides of this. Let's look first the Spurs. Spurs, they could have traded him to the Lakers. They could have tried to trade him to the Sixers, the Celtics. They could have gone like there was some rumor for a half an hour that they were going to trade him to Sacramento. What do you think of the Spurs? The Spurs, instead of going for young assets, they decided, hey, let's get a guy who's arguably like a star. He's an all-star, and he's in the prime of his career. Let's get that guy instead.
I mean, if not, you're basically wasting one of Aldridge's last really good seasons.
Right. And Pop is like near the end of his run in coaching. He only has a few years remaining. Does Pop really want to rebuild, or would Pop rather say like, "Hey, let's try to win"? We won 47 games last year without Kawhi. Give me another All-Star. Let's see what we can do.
Right. It's like, okay, Kawhi out of the equation, still a really good team. Now we're adding an all-star to that. So it's not a bad team. They're not going to scare anybody, but on paper they're a better team than they were last year.
I mean, also everyone kind of feels like the entire season's a waste because Golden State's going to win the title. At the same time, like it should be a fun season.
Well,
and the
maybe
playoffs
you want to stay a better, like a not top-notch team, but a tier right under that, and hope Curry and Durant roll ankles.
Yeah, I mean they've also that kind of thing could happen. The Spurs, outside of the season where they tanked while having David Robinson and got Tim Duncan, outside of that season, generally they've been on like a 20-year run where they've just been great the whole time, and they've been able to retool while being great. Everyone says you need to tank, and the Spurs figured out how to do it without tanking. Maybe they could just be good and just take their 28th picks in the draft, 25th picks in the draft, and find out another way to be really good again.
Yeah, I mean they got Murray.
They got Murray.
Young,
They got
so maybe they get another couple players like Murray, and then all of a sudden they're rebuilt again.
We all know there's some guy on the roster who's the 15th guy on the roster who you've never heard of, who at some point in the next 2 years will look like an all-star. Because that's just the Spurs.
Yeah, that's just what they do.
But I'd say of what you could have gotten, I mean, supposedly maybe you could have gotten Ingram from the Lakers.
I heard there was not a lot of competition for Kawhi.
Well, I guess the Lakers figured they could sign him I just feel like the Lakers are kind of being silly because you're wasting a year of LeBron. Like you want to go all in right
You're
away.
wasting a year of LeBron, but big picture, to get Kawhi, they would have had to trade Ball and Ingram.
Yeah.
And then how good is the team if you get rid of all the young players to get Kawhi? You wait 1 year, yeah, it sucks to kind of waste a year of LeBron, but then you have Ball, Ingram, and then Kawhi and LeBron. It's
right. I guess this year
much,
two and year 2 and year 3 of LeBron look a lot better when you sign Kawhi in free agency.
Yeah,
yes,
I'd rather punt 1 year and have 3 good years than the opposite.
So beyond that, then you say Philly. I don't know what they'd put on the table. We were throwing out the trade that was. I think we had heard. Like someone else had made up this trade, but the idea of like Covington and Fultz and
Saric. If they did not trade for Kawhi because of Fultz, I think that's ridiculous.
Well, we don't know. We don't know if that was even on the table. But I'd say like Saric and Covington, you'd rather have
DeRozan if you're trying to make a playoff.
Yeah, if you're trying to make the playoffs, and Fultz if you're San Antonio, if you're really trying to win now, you'd rather have DeRozan because DeRozan, you already know he's an all-star. Fultz, he's a project.
Right. Also, I heard Spurs wanted stability. DeRozan has 3 years left, so at least you got him locked in.
Yeah. No, I think it's a. Yeah. So I'd say if I'm San Antonio, this is a pretty good offer. This is a pretty good. I like what I got.
Yeah, it's not bad. The thing now is that Kawhi said he didn't say it, but the rumors are that Kawhi is willing to sit out the entire season if need be, meaning he doesn't want to play in Toronto. What on earth is he thinking? Like, if he sits out the entire year,
supposedly they can fine him. The fines can get insane. From where if he doesn't play.
Even if he says I'm not going to play, and they say fine, sit on the bench all season. How is that going to look to other teams? Are you going to say this guy punked out on 2 straight teams? I'm going to offer him a 4-year max.
No, he's going to have to do a 1 or 2 year deal with some team that's going to kind of suck compared to what he could have gotten. He's not going to.
I would say you're getting like 2 years, 10 per until you could prove you're not completely insane.
I don't know. I saw on Real GM, they said that the team management and Kawhi have already spoken, and they were like positive about the first interaction. So I think he's going to go play with the Raptors this year.
I thought last year's story was crazy. If he gets traded and refuses to play for them, that's even crazier than what happened last year.
Last year, you could say like he had the injury. He had a big fight with them about when he should come back, and he felt like they really like dishonored him with the whole. Like I think Tony Parker saying like I would have been back already, or I was back this much faster than this. Like he didn't like how they treated it. Whatever. No one's saying he's injured now. Everyone says he's healthy. So what do you think about this gamble with Toronto? Last couple of years, every year LeBron beats their ass, and now LeBron's finally out of the East. This is their chance to compete, basically. They got rid of their coach, brought in someone new. If you're Toronto, do you run it back with DeRozan, or do you take a gamble on Kawhi? What do you think the smarter move for them?
I think it's not a bad idea to do this move because, first of all, DeRozan, in the playoffs, they were kind of phasing him out.
Yeah.
So you're saying this is a guy we don't have faith in the playoffs.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to just point out one of the knocks against DeRozan is he's kind of like an old school NBA player in the sense he doesn't really shoot a lot of threes. He's more of like the efficient 2-point shot, which, oh my God, San Antonio will be shooting more twos than anyone. They're going to jump to the lead between Aldridge and DeRozan.
Yeah.
Like, it's just hilarious how they're like, no, we're going against the grain here.
Yeah.
And they'll still be really good. But
I mean, historically, DeRozan hasn't really stepped up in the playoffs. He actually was pretty bad, especially the Cleveland series this year.
I mean, it's also Boston obviously looks pretty good. Philly's going to look pretty good next year. You really want to make the finals this coming year. You got to roll the dice a little bit. If Kawhi is as good as he was in San Antonio, then this is a good move. You got
it's a huge upgrade if it is. If not, you're getting rid of a guy who you didn't really have faith in the playoffs, and if you don't like that, it's a bad contract. $25 million per year for a guy that you don't trust in the playoffs. It's a good thing to get rid of. I mean, and then if Kawhi walks, you got a lot of free space to work with,
which is awesome because you'll sign a lot of hockey players because no basketball player wants to go to Toronto.
I mean, no one signs there. Want to go to Toronto, but you can get a lot of mid-level guys, and
you can get guys that basically you're going to overpay for that shouldn't go there. Like DeMari Carroll, you overpaid for him, and that was a disaster.
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of teams that got fooled by DeMari Carroll.
Yeah, no, I would say it's not a bad gamble to take, and you out of the DeRozan contract if you don't think it's a good contract. Take a gamble with Kawhi, and you know what? Kawhi may have going into this may have said like, "There's zero chance I want to be in Toronto now, much less my rest of my career." But maybe he goes to Toronto. Maybe they're awesome together. They go to the finals, and he has such a good time living in Toronto, which is actually Toronto's a pretty cool city. Have you been there?
I have not, but I've heard great things.
Yeah,
and the same thing happened with Paul George. Nobody thought Paul George was going to stay in Oklahoma City, and now it looks like he's spending the rest of his prime there.
You have a whole season to basically make your case to this free agent. So what the hell? If he looks really good,
if you make conference finals, it's a real. And say the Raptors make the conference finals and the Lakers get bumped out in the first round, you got to really consider that.
I mean, there's something about being on like Paul George probably looked at it and goes, hey, we went to the playoffs. We got knocked out in the first round. I don't know if we're going to win a title here, but the fans seem pretty cool. I like Westbrook. I like my teammates. I like what we got going on here. instead of taking a gamble somewhere else, I'll just stick where I am and see what we can do here.
He
And
might have
maybe
also been told, like, listen, Melo's gone. We're going to have a lot of cash to, like,
Yeah.
make this team better.
But yeah, in the future. But yeah, I would just say like it's not a bad move for both sides. I like the trade, and I think this is probably a pretty decent. It's a pretty decent trade for both sides.
Yep.
Let's move on to Knicks stuff.
All right, let's take a really quick break and then get into all Knicks for the rest of the show.
Okay, so you're gonna really take a break right now.
Yeah.
The hell's your problem, Jay?
All right, we're back.
We're back. So we have some topics we're gonna go through, and I think the first topic I want to start with is the potential, what we've seen, and what we expect from Kevin Knox.
Okay, so going right into this Kevin Knox topic, Michael Porter Jr. is just about to have his second back surgery. So is this the official Kevin Knox apology episode?
Well, I first off, happy to apologize about Kevin Knox. I am not writing off Michael Porter's career based on it. Like, there's a good chance going into drafting him that he was going to be out for the first year. Plenty of players, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Blake Griffin, have missed their first year of playing.
Is this the Kevin Knox apology episode?
Oh, I'll apologize for Kevin Knox. Yeah, no problem. I apologize. I was completely wrong. Kevin Knox looks awesome. I'm very excited. I would say, am I as excited as I was about KP? It's getting close to that.
You have been very excited. You're messaging me about all the summer league games and like.
You know what? The thing is, I didn't watch
into this.
Oh, I'm into this. I watched all the summer league games. I was very into this. I did not watch. I don't watch a lot of college basketball to begin with, and everything people said about him in college, they said he looked like he would like disappear in parts of games. They said people questioned his motor, his intensity. People said a lot of times he'd settle for like not the best twos instead of driving to the basket. Wouldn't really draw contact. They questioned his defense. They were like, basically, if you take a look at a lot of draft reports on him or scouting reports, a lot of them questioned. They said he had tons of potential, but at the same time, people question whether that would really pan out. The biggest positive they'd say were that he's young and physical tools are physical tools. Maybe like if you groom him, he'll get really good. He looks like, between what they said in college and what I saw in summer league, looks so much better than everyone had said about him. It was kind of like with KP. I remember when they draft, everything that people said about KP going into the draft, it sounded like you were getting a Bargs 2.0, basically a big man that could like shoot the three. Coming out of the draft, you weren't even sure how good his defense would be. When you first saw KP play, you were like, whatever people described him at, he looks so much better than what they had described him as being.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what to expect with KP coming when he first was playing, and I was like, shoot, this guy can drive to the basket. I was like, he can basically defend the rim. He looks so much better than I expected, and obviously we love KP. I do believe, who knows, I could be completely wrong. Hopefully I'm not as wrong as I was about drafting him in the first place, but I do believe Kevin Knox will be an all-star. I think we found the all-star to pair with KP. And potentially,
let's not forget that he is also still 18 years old. And
he's 19 in a few weeks, so he's 19 very soon.
But he'll just be barely 19 when the season starts. And then the word is that he's still growing, so he might be 6'10", 6'11".
18 foot. He might be 18 feet tall.
I mean, but if he ends up being like 6'11", this is
at his what, he's 6'9" now. At his own height, he's pretty long. I mean, the thing is, right away you saw in summer league that the dude was, first of all, he had a handle. People questioned his handle last year.
He definitely
had a handle. He was all about driving to the basket, being aggressive, which is the Knicks really need that. They need a guy that can really. I mean, you look at this team outside of KP, you're like, who the hell's going to score for us?
Yeah.
Knox looks like a guy that's like, give me the ball. I would be very happy to try to score for you guys.
And the athleticism is crazy.
Yeah, he's throwing down dunks. I mean, it's hard to tell about his defense in summer league because no one plays defense in summer league.
Yeah, that's still hard
Mitchell Robinson plays defense in summer league, but no one else plays defense in summer league. Generally, it's hard to tell with everything. Also, he's driving against summer league players, which are first and second year players. You're not talking about like NBA vets but and Summer League, Jerry and Grant was the MVP of Summer League a couple of years ago. It's hard. You can't take everything from Summer League.
Well, the thing with Summer League is you just don't want them to look bad. Because if you look bad in Summer League, that's a really bad sign.
But guys have looked bad in Summer League and not being good. You never know.
Not many.
They pointed out, I think, while we were watching, when one of the games, they pointed out how horrible Green on Golden State looked in his first Summer League, and obviously ended up being a pretty good player.
Right, but I mean, Green took a couple of years to even look good in the NBA. Yeah, I mean,
either way, like Knox looked like a guy that you're like you watch them play, and you right away were like, if people watched this Summer League and just redid the draft, you would have gone higher.
Yeah, definitely top 5.
Yeah, I don't know. He looked really good. I feel like, not to say he's the Donovan Mitchell of this draft, but he kind of looks like the Donovan Mitchell of this draft. It's not just Knicks fans are excited about him. Everywhere you hear, like in the world of basically NBA media, people are like, Knicks. They think the Knicks found someone. They're like, he looked really good. He was first team in Summer League. I'm excited. I am super excited. I think to the level of like how excited I was for KP, I am that excited for Knox. I apologize completely for doubting this pick, but I thought it was more hype before, and now that I've seen him play in Summer League, and like obviously it's hard to judge a player when you haven't seen that much of him playing. People said in Kentucky's a weird place for Kentucky, right? Am I being crazy?
No, you're crazy, but yeah, Kentucky.
Yeah. In Kentucky, they said basically, like they pointed out, like Towns barely shot threes in Kentucky. They pointed out like a lot of players play differently because of the style of their offense. Ask for different things from players, and the team is so loaded anyway. But it's not made the best player to place to develop a player for the NBA, or like it's not the best player place to really figure out what the guy's going to be in the NBA. You can't just like look. But Calipari was a huge. Basically, was just saying this guy is really good. He was talking him up to everyone, and obviously you talk to your players, but like he sounds pretty genuine. I'm pretty excited. I don't know. What's your take on Knox? Are you anywhere near my level of excitement?
I don't think I can be anywhere near your level of excitement, but I am excited. It looks like the based on where the Knicks were picking, they made the right choice, and it's a piece we need. It's a guy who looks like he's going to play above expectations, and I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, I mean, my expectation for him for the season, and this obviously we haven't seen anything since then. He's going to be an inefficient scorer. I think it's going to take a few years where he becomes an efficient scorer. Like I think at some point he'll become a more efficient like scorer, but I think you're in his first year he's shooting around like 40%. I think people are going to knock him in his first year for taking too many bad shots.
Yeah, but I mean, at his age, that comes with the territory.
I want him to take. He's also a guy I want just keep shooting. I think he's a guy that we really could run the offense through, and I'm totally fine with him taking a lot of shots. And if he's not, like some games he'll look really good, and some games he'll like be 3 for 16 and be like, what the hell is he doing?
It'll be a typical rookie season for a player that's kind of raw. Yeah, I mean, we're not saying like, oh my God, Knox is going to be an all-star, second year in the league. There's going to be growing pains, but the potential's there.
By the time I think 3 years in, we're going to love having him and KP together. I think we're going to be astounded by having those two together. I think for his first year in the league, maybe averages like 12 to 15 points. Maybe 12 to 15 because the Knicks are really like, the roster has so many young players that he'll have a shot of really like taking a big role. Mm-hmm. He's also his 3-point shooting looked pretty good. That one game where he went off in the third quarter, I was just like, he kept shooting shots. I was like, that's not a good. Oh, he made the 3. Oh, he made the 3 again. Wow.
Yeah.
Like if he could, I mean, obviously, if he could shoot like 6 threes a game and like hit like 35% of his shots, that 35% of his, that'd be pretty amazing. If he's really a 3-point threat in the NBA, then that's going to be just crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know how
getting a floor spacer from a guy we didn't think would be one. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, people said he could shoot the 3, but he was not that great a shooter at he was a below average 3-point shooter at Kentucky, but his shot looks nice.
Form's there.
Form's there. I don't know about his defense. We'll see. But as far as on the 1 to 10, 10 being KP and 1 being the Landry Fields level of excitement, I'm gonna say I am a 9 on this for Knox right now.
I think
Close
we're
to 10.
pretty excited about Landry Fields. Let's
Okay.
go. Let's make one Jordan Hill. We weren't very excited about that pick.
I don't think we did our show when Jordan Hill was picked.
We didn't?
No, I think we started the year after.
Oh, okay. I feel like
yeah,
we've been
but-
doing this show forever. I don't know.
I don't know about the Clyde Frazier pick, but
No, Jordan Hill was 20.
no, he was. I think it was the year before we did the show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't know what the pick we were not. Whatever.
You know what? I think we started his rookie season, but we weren't doing the show for the draft.
No. The year we started was Amari was there. It was the first year of Amari.
Yeah, wasn't that 2010? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
doesn't
whatever.
matter. Let's move on and
Mitchell
talk-
Robinson.
Yes, Mitchell Robinson.
Okay, so I am almost at a 9 for him. Also, maybe an 8.5.
He led the summer league in blocks.
He looks. I mean, the crazy thing is he took a year off from playing, and I know they said like he didn't play organized basketball. They said obviously he was playing. I think I heard an interview with his coach, high school coach. He was playing pickup basketball. He played lots of games. He just wasn't playing in any organized league for the last year, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
He was blocking guys at the 3-point line, which is pretty much something the Knicks have not guarded the 3-point line in a decade. And now they have a guy who blocks shots at the 3-point line.
Yeah, it's nice. He's still. This is probably from not playing organized basketball in so long. Still has the turnovers. He
His fouls are
fouls.
pretty.
Yeah, I was just about to say he fouls a lot.
But these are all the things that a young big man are going to learn how to not do.
Exactly.
He needs
easily fixable things, and if he fixes that and his defense keeps getting better, this is a keeper. This is a steal in the second round.
he can shoot the 3.
3 and D. I mean, that's what it's all about.
No, he can really. He didn't. So in the summer league, he didn't shoot the ball from 10 feet away. The ball never came to him with an opportunity to actually shoot.
Mm-hmm.
But supposedly, and I saw a video of him shooting. Supposedly, the guy can actually shoot the ball. Supposedly, he can shoot the 3. I don't know if he's going to be like a gun. He's not going to be Steph Curry
Was it
from
the
the
same
outside.
videographer that shot that Willie Cauley-Stein video? That
It might have been, but supposedly that he shot the 3 in high school. He's actually a pretty decent shooter, which is something that I didn't even. Just adding that is just like thank you for the cherry on top of the whipped cream on top of this giant sundae of awesome ice cream you gave me. This is like if you redo the draft, also the guy's a top 15 pick easily.
yeah.
I mean, of the other big men that was taken, are any his numbers, at least in summer league, were as good as any of the other big men that were taken. Any of the top 5 big men in the league. The Bagley, not Bagley. Who are the
Ayton,
the other guys?
Jackson.
Anyway,
I mean, Wendell Carter Jr. is
Wendell Carter.
he looks really.
Yeah, no, he looked really good too. But he didn't average as many blocks as Mitchell Robinson.
Well, nobody did.
Nobody did. So I think he averaged 3.8, which is like kind of low there. I mean, like you got to average 4. Come on.
So, I mean, Knox, Robinson, Ntilikina, Porzingis. Looks like the Knicks are actually building a nice young core.
They are building a nice young core. I am really excited with it. I mean, like I'm sure by the time we've lost 70 games and it's January, I won't be as excited. But like next year, no matter what, we're gonna have a lot of losing next year. But there's a lot to build on here. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
The Robinson for this season, I expect he'll spend some time in D League. I expect. I mean, I don't expect a lot from him this year.
No, I'm expecting like 10 to 12 minutes a game tops. But
I expect he'll have some decent highlight moments that will get us. Like he'll play. He'll have some highlights where we're like, holy crap about his potential.
he's going to be one of those fan favorites. People are going to be chanting his name at the end of games, wanting him to come in.
Yeah,
But he's going to play spotty, but that's
Yeah.
fine. As long
but
as
it's not
he
like we
develops.
have so much in front. Like Knox also so we don't have a lot at the 3 and the 4 right now. Like at the 3 and the 4 in this team, we got Lance Thomas, We got
Hazonia.
Herzanya. I've kind of learned how to pronounce his name. Herzanya, or you can say Mario, which is easier. We've got those two. Who else do we got? I mean, our coach already said that he thought Courtney Lee and Timmy were undersized for the 3. So Knox, there's playing time to be had for Knox. Whereas our center, you're going to assume Cantor's getting 25 minutes a game. Noah might be back in the rotation as they have not cut him yet. You have Luke Cornett. It's going to be a little bit harder for Mitchell Robinson to get playing time.
Yeah.
But he also probably needs to spend some time in the D League anyway. But where are you on the scale of on the scale of we traded this draft pick to get Eddie Curry to being the 1 to number 10 being KP? Where are you on this scale?
I'm an 8 for a guy who's a second-round pick to end up being a solid rotation player is rare. So I'm very excited.
I would say if we had drafted Mitchell Robinson with the number 9 pick, I'd be excited. That's how excited I know I'm being a little crazy about this. But I really think 3 players in a couple of years, 3 of the Knicks 5 stars will be KP, Knox, and Robinson. These guys are locks for our rotation in the future.
No,
I mean, Robinson. Oh, and Ntilikina, yeah, Ntilikina. Well, I like Ntilikina. I am not as high on a. I did this. I asked this on Facebook, and I'll ask you this. In the last 2 years, the Knicks have drafted Knox, Robinson, Ntilikina, and Dotson. Rank them in order, not of how good they are, or how good they will be, just your level of excitement.
Knox, Robinson, Ntilikina, Dotson.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm still high on Ntilikina, but these guys I'm just. And they haven't. Neither of these guys have played an NBA game yet, so who the hell knows? But potential, it gets me excited. But anyway, yeah, that'd be great. Ntilikina's. It's hard to say with Ntilikina, but I feel like Robinson and KP. Like, who the hell's going to go to the rim?
Right.
You're like, well, no point in driving against those two. Both guys should average at least 2 to 3 blocks a game.
Yeah.
Or could. Like, with the rim protection there is. Okay. I don't want to juice in my past while I'm talking about this, but I'm excited. Allonso Trier. Let's talk about him.
Okay.
You remember? You know who he is, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was on the summer league team.
Yeah. Just making fun of you. So, what do you think about him for a 2-way contract? How do you feel? Obviously, we're not expecting him to come in the NBA and light the place on fire. He should spend most of the season in D League. His first summer league game, or I guess the second summer league game, the entire crowd turned on him and said, "Pass the goddamn ball, you goddamn ball hog! You're losing this game for us." But forgetting all that, I like what I've seen from Trier.
I'm not terribly excited about him. It's good that we have a 2-way contract. So should he start blowing it up in the G League?
At best, I feel like in maybe he ends up being a future bench piece. But I feel like he has the potential to be an NBA bench piece.
Yeah, I would keep my excitement at like a 2 for him.
Yeah, I would say 3. I feel like I liked a lot. His ability to get to the basket, I was very impressed by. By the way, also point out Knox drew a lot of fouls. I don't want to forget that. Having a Knick player that can draw fouls, that hasn't been that's also something that we've been absent from our team for a while.
Yeah.
But Trier, I liked his ability to get to the basket. He's not necessarily he's not a natural point guard, but he did a decent job running the team in summer league. I liked enough what I saw from him that I would say I think he's going to look pretty good in D League. I think he'll put up. I think he'll be. If you're a Westchester Knicks fan, you'll be liking adding Trier to your roster.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think he's more. Isaiah Hicks and Trier are 2 2-way contracts. Which one's more of a keeper in your mind?
I think Trier. I kind of soured on Hicks in the last few months.
Everything I saw from Hicks last year, and I mean summer league also, but like even last year, I don't get why they even brought him back on a 2-way contract. Outside of the fact that they need someone else to play power forward, on the roster, I don't see any NBA any real NBA potential there.
Yeah, I think we've probably seen the last of Hicks in a Knicks jersey.
Speaking of last of Knicks jersey, seeing the last of in a Knicks jersey, Troy Williams, 23 years old, young, may look like he's 50, but he's 23 years old. Are you surprised the Knicks cut him?
I am kind of surprised they cut him. I mean, I know that somebody had to get cut, and I guess he was the odd man out.
But they could go to training camp with a bigger roster, right? They don't have to get down to 15 by training camp. I think they can go to training camp with up to 20 players.
Yeah.
You get 15 players plus two-way contracts, so you can't. Trier and Hicks do not count against the roster. They're the two-way contracts.
Right.
And you're not going to give Troy Williams a two-way contract. He's not going to accept
I guess
that.
they said, why delay this? That we know he's not going to make the final team. Why keep him around for the next 3 months?
Does Fizdale really just hate the guy? This is the second time Fizdale has cut him, by the way. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
When he was on the Grizzlies last year, and Fizdale cut him there as well.
Interesting.
Fizdale does not think a lot of Troy Williams' potential in the NBA.
No, he doesn't.
In theory, he's the 3-and-D guy. His three-point shot didn't look that much better in Summer League. He didn't shoot. I mean, it's a small sample. He didn't shoot all that great in Summer League. He could hit the three, but he never shot with a high percentage. He's really athletic. He's really fast.
I'm not terribly broken up over this one.
No, he's the 15th man of the roster. He is not someone who really like. He may not even be in the NBA next year. He will likely, if he's in the NBA, he'll likely start in the D League somewhere, or G League, whatever you want to call it. I think Gatorade likes calling it the G League. But he'll be what was I going to say? He'll be in the G League. He's not going to. I don't think see him getting major minutes for any NBA team next year.
No, definitely not. So this isn't a huge loss.
Yeah. So I am not really. I don't know why Steven is like messaging us.
You really can't.
I can't. I too. Yeah. See, our Steven, our resident.
Derailed the show. Okay, so
Raptors fan. Whatever.
Move on.
Okay. You want to talk about? Yeah, Steven. We appreciate it, but we're already done with the Kawhi talk. So sorry. But Troy Williams. The only other thing I'd say about that is, are you surprised that the more obvious guys to cut? Ron Baker in a team that has a heavy guard rotation. I cannot see Baker getting a lot of playing time.
No, I don't. I think Baker is maybe they're second guessing that contract now because it seems like he's quickly becoming the odd man out.
Yeah,
half the time I forget he's even on the team.
Well, the thing is with Baker, he was injured most of last year.
Yeah.
But like if you look at the guards, I mean, I would love to cut Moutier, but they're not cutting Moutier. Fizz has already said he wants to make Moutier better, but you got Moutier.
Yeah, well, everybody wants to make Moutier better.
Yeah, you got Ntilikina, obviously. You got I hate this damn. How do you turn off the noise? Like, can people hear the noise from Facebook?
No.
Oh, only I can hear it. It's driving me crazy. Can you stop freaking messaging us?
Trey Burke.
We got Trey Burke. You got a lot of people, and you got Courtney Lee and Timmy Hardaway also, who are really guards. You got a lot of guards there. So it is I don't see how Ron Baker gets any minutes. The only thing you could say is that Ron Baker hustles. He plays defense. He'll be a good guy to scrimmage against. And we're paying $4 million anyway, so that's why they're not cutting him. Like if they're on the exact same contracts, it seems like Ron Baker gets cut hands down over Troy Williams.
Yeah,
because at least Troy Williams, you probably need another three, as a backup. So and then Noah. Do you think this means Noah gets playing time?
Oof, that is a tough question. I don't know where Noah stands. I feel like probably not, but the fact that they haven't cut him is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think.
Do you want Noah taking minutes from the younger guys?
I don't think they're going to cut him. Well, yeah. Well, first off, I don't think they're. I think they're going to cut him. I mean, I guess they're supposedly they might buy him out after the September deadline, September when they can stretch him out or blah blah blah. If you were going to cut him though, you have plenty of time to cut him. You don't have to you didn't have to get the roster down right now. I don't think they're cutting Noah.
I don't either.
Yeah. So but really, who's he taking minutes from? If you're looking at your centers, Mitchell Robinson's a project, so I don't think he's really taking minutes from Mitchell Robinson. You got Cantor, and who cares if he takes minutes from Cantor?
Yeah, but like,
and Luke Cornett's not really an NBA. The crazy thing is, you look at Luke Cornett and you're like, well, he's 7 foot. He can shoot the three. He's not bad. I mean, like, and he does blocks. He does some rim protection. And then you watch Mitchell Robinson, and you're like, okay, you have to go, Cornett. Like, you're just
right,
like Mitchell Robinson looks like a whole other like. You're like, that's what we need.
The team's not going to be good.
Yeah.
And so why not just, instead of playing Noah 15 minutes, play Mitchell Robinson 15 minutes? Who cares?
Yeah, and I agree with you. I agree. Who cares? But you also don't want to you don't want to throw him out there where he's so unprepared and so he looks so bad that it kills his confidence. You want to build him up a little bit. So especially maybe in the beginning of the year, when he spends more time in D League, when because you might rather him just playing 35 minutes a game in the G League, where you can't do that him playing 12 minutes a night versus him playing 35 minutes a night in the G League. 35 minutes a night is probably going to be better for him. Or maybe 30 minutes, whatever number you want. But him getting a chance to really play and not have to worry about losing games for you also.
Right.
Go out there in the G League, give it your all. If we lose, who cares? If you foul out, who cares? Just get better, basically. Get the practice in.
Yeah.
Noah is a guy that obviously cares about defense. He works hard. Whatever you want to say about him, he's probably a good influence to have around the players, the young guys.
I mean, people seem to love him in the locker room.
So I didn't really. Well, Hornacek did not love him in the locker room. I feel like
True.
The Knicks screwed things up with Noah. You're paying him a goddamn amount of Harwell. Get something out of him now. Make him a good influence on the young guys. He might be a better guy to play also than Cantor. If Cantor looks crap on defense, then put Noah out there instead and just say, Cantor, you got to earn your minutes back.
One guy plays defense, one guy plays offense.
Yes. And we did an operation. We merged them. No Cantor. Damian Dotson. He is a guy we were calling for playing time all last season.
Mm-hmm.
Getting really mad at Hornacek for not playing him.
Yep.
Then he had a couple big games toward the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Then we watched him against Summer League.
Yeah.
In Summer League, he should be able to dominate because he's gotten better in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do you want to just call Hornacek right now and apologize? So we just
Why don't we make this the combined Knox/Hornacek apology episode?
Yeah, sure. Dotson looked like crap at the Summer League. I don't.
Did.
Holy crap! Did he if he just comes out and goes, "Hey guys, I went out before every game. I wanted to see how I'd play hungover, and that's how I played hungover."
I was trying to recreate J.R. Smith's career trajectory.
Guys, I took acid for all 5 games. Sorry. It just looked. I don't know. He couldn't shoot. You thought he'd be more of an alpha dog, also, taking over the offense. I guess he looked okay in the last game, but I don't know. I guess do you think we just overrated him because he's the guy on the bench that's not playing, so we're went crazy about him?
Yeah, we do that all the time.
We all do that all the time. I mean, everyone said he could play defense, shoot the three. We're like, we need defense. We need 3-point shooting. Get him out there.
I mean, we've gone nuts over Travis Ware and Landry Fields.
Travis Ware shut down LeBron James, by the way.
Who was the guy who got drafted the same year as Landry Fields that we also went nuts over?
Oh, by the way, just on a side note, interesting Knicks fact of the game of the day. Do you know what player used to school LeBron James in one-on-one matchups? I don't know if school, but who used to beat LeBron James one-on-one a lot?
Lonzo Ball.
Michael Beasley. When they were on Miami together, they play a lot of one-on-one, and supposedly the Beasley would usually win.
Wow.
Yeah. Beasley's got talent, just not enough when you add 4 players around him to make it work. He's also still a free agent because no one seems to really want him. He may not play in the NBA next year.
Oh, Andy Rottens is another player we were excited about.
Rottens didn't even play. Rottens seemed like he was out of Syracuse, right? And it seemed like the Knicks just drafted him because he's a local guy, and they never played him. I think he appeared in the NBA, in the floor. He played a total of 12 minutes his first year, and I could be.
It was not a lot. It was not.
It was not. It was just it was the point where you're like, why do the Knicks even have this guy on the roster? He played in his first season. I want to look this up. He played 4.8 minutes a game
by his first season.
over 5 games. He played 5 games for the Knicks and could not break 5 minutes, and he averaged under 5 minutes a game for that. Like, why the Knicks even draft him?
By his first season, you mean his only season?
His only season, yes. Andy Rottens. That's when the Knicks just said, second round draft picks. We'll pick the name out of the hat because you won't even play. We have no faith in second round draft picks.
If I do have to compliment the show on anything, I would say we are the world record holder in Andy Rottens references.
Yes. Also, Knicks Film School, who I love. You guys should follow. Follow him. You should follow him on Twitter. Get his daily email. He's great. He pointed out the last time the Knicks have had a second round draft pick that's been on the roster for more than 2 seasons. And I think I already told you this. So do you remember who it is? It goes back to 1985, and I guess you don't remember. Gerald Wilkins.
Yep, that is that's pretty crazy. I mean, it's just as crazy as the fact that we've had no first round picks past their rookie contract since Charlie Ward.
Yeah, but I don't know which is crazier. The crazier that the Knicks have just like phoned it in on the second round draft picks. They've just got nothing out of the second round for 33 years. I mean, it's unbelievable to get Dotson in theory will be on the season on the year team next year. He'll be the first guy. Damian Dotson will be the first guy since Gerald Wilkins to go over 2 years as a second round draft pick.
Well, they also traded their second round picks for almost 10 straight years.
Yeah.
Between 89 and 98, they had none.
That's not true. Is that really true?
Yeah, they had a pick in 89, and then they traded every second round pick until 98.
I mean, but those are the good years. The team was really good all that time, so I can't even give them that much crap.
It's still funny.
Holy The Knicks are like, they're like, and time for the draft happens. They're like, time for the second round. The Knicks are like, do we have to stay? You have a pick. Take them all for the next decade, and we don't have to stay for this.
The sad thing, well, and then they went another 5 years between 2006 and 2010.
Oh my God!
But Trevor Ariza was a second round pick.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of good players. I mean, obviously he was a Knicks second round pick, but there are a lot of good players in the second round. The Knicks are just like, it's baffling to have found no value in second round picks.
Yeah. When you have one every 5 years, it's harder as well.
But you know what else I found? So in the Kawhi trade, the second round draft pick I guess the Spurs threw the second round draft pick in this, but it's the Spurs pick or is it the Toronto pick, second round pick? I'm like losing my mind. In the Kawhi trade that just happened, there's the first round draft pick. Sorry, a first round draft pick that's involved, and that first round draft pick, is it Toronto to San Antonio, or San Antonio to Toronto?
Oh, it's.
By the way, for anyone, just a side note, also, facts, we're not good at them, and for NBA information, we're not good at them. The goal of our show, for people new listeners, we want to be your buddies at the bar talking NBA. Your drunk buddies that can't remember crap and just get things wrong all the time, but just like having a conversation. That's where our goal for the show is.
Right. If you want advanced statistics, it's probably not the show for you.
If you want advanced statistics, we pronounce it per, not PER, because we don't give a crap.
So it's the Raptors giving the Spurs a first round pick, but top 20 protected.
It's top 20 protected. This is how the first round picks have gone, even second round picks have gotten so high. Like a first round pick, they couldn't even throw in a draft first round pick. They had to make it top 20 protected. Whereas a couple years back, the Knicks were like, you want to throw in a first round to get Bargs? Yeah, sure, why not? It's just amazing how if that trade happened today, people have been like people said it was a horrible trade at the time, but people, even more so, they'd be like, how could you give up a first round pick to get Bargs? I guess even then it was
horrible. And 3 players and 2 second round picks. I mean, the whole thing was just...
It was a travesty. Yeah, where are we going with this?
We're done. Let's move on to
the second round draft picks. Knicks don't give a crap. Dotson, is he going to be a solid rotation piece, or is he a dumpster fire? He put up 30 points in a game last year.
Yeah, I know. Can we pick something like sort of in between?
Yeah, I mean, Fizz said he thinks he could. Fizz has been working with Dotson. He said he wants Dotson shooting 6 or 7 3-pointers a game. So he's got some faith in him. Like he's talking as if he has faith in him. I think part of the issue is Summer League. Dotson's not going to be a guy that's going to run your offense, and Summer League's a little more disorganized. It's not real point guard play. He needs a more organized structure to really make his playing style work, because he's really more of a 3-and-D type guy. Is his game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next topic. Knicks fan booed Knox. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about how the whole ESPN narrative that the Knicks fans booed Kevin Knox, and I booed it. And then there's been all this backlash of all these people being like, Knicks fans didn't boo Kevin Knox, and this is BS, and ESPN keeps saying this. Did the Knicks fans actually boo the Kevin Knox pick?
Some did.
Yeah, people were there and said they booed him. Like, I don't understand the issue.
You could hear boos when the pick happened.
And I don't understand the issue of, like, why people get so offended that people boot. Who gives a crap? You don't care whether you're right or wrong at the moment of the pick, whether the guy was going to be good. You care about if the guy's actually good. I am delighted to be wrong about Knox. You are delighted to be right that the Knicks should take KP. Like, it's who cares? Like, who cares if you get it right at the time? All that matters is, like, if the guy's good.
I think we can all agree that we should just stop showing crying kid every draft. I don't want to see this piece of shit for the next 10 years, every draft, booing every single pick. Him and his dad should be banned from MSG. I hate them.
You know, ESPN's gonna find the kid. Like, there'll be like a 30 for 30, like in a couple of years about
they
this.
Were planted like in a spot. The cameras were already on him.
Of course they are. Like, whatever. Like,
the worst. He's the worst.
How about the Knicks aren't an embarrassment, and how about ESPN can't do this kind of story because the Knicks look so good in the future? Like, the Knicks, you do these things because the Knicks have been a joke for so long.
Crying kid, I hate you.
Next topic.
I hate your dad even more.
Next topic. How unfair is it that we have to wait the whole goddamn summer to watch the Knicks play? Because the Knicks fan base has not been this excited since... When's the last time the Knicks... I guess, like, people were excited when we got KP, but now that we have KP on the roster, got Knox, Mitchell Robinson, I mean, the team is, like... People are through the roof about the excitement of this team. We're getting record downloads. People are through the roof excited for this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I don't think we've been this excited since the Knicks got Amari.
I mean, I guess the Knicks got Melo, really. Overall, Knicks fan base, not necessarily us, was pretty excited. I mean, people had excitement of getting Phil Jackson. People excited about getting Derrick Rose. People got excited about a lot of things, but, like, people are really into this now.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost, it's like, it's cruel to the fan base now to be like, okay, now wait 3 months.
Yeah.
Are we concerned? So Knicks also are talking about the fact that they have a lot of money for next season. Forgetting whether they get Jimmy Butler, Kyrie, everyone thinks of this. Are you concerned that the Knicks will pull an Amari and say, we didn't get our first choice, we didn't get our second choice, we didn't get our third choice. Well, we have to give the money to our fourth choice. Because for those that don't know, it was Kyrie, Bosh, I think Joe Johnson was number 3, which would have been also a bad choice. Then we gave the money to Amari because we were just like, we had to spend the money. We cleared the cap space. We had to spend it.
It wasn't Kyrie. It was LeBron.
No, did I say Kyrie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm not drinking, but it sounds like I am. I meant LeBron, obviously. But we had to spend the money. Are you concerned? Everyone next season has cap space. Obviously, it'd be great. Obviously, I mean, maybe you disagree, whatever, about getting Butler. Like, obviously, like, the guys the Knicks my target would be Kyrie, Butler, Durant. It'd be great if they got those guys, or not. You could disagree. Just forget whether you think it's great or not if they got those guys. Are you concerned the Knicks will pull an Amari, don't get those guys, and then, like, blow the money on some other guy?
A little bit. I mean, I would say no based on the moves they've made recently, but then this same group also did the Hardaway move, so...
Well, no, it was Mills, though. It wasn't Perry. Mills did the Hardaway move. Perry got hired after that. So it wasn't Perry.
So you think Perry is keeping some sanity to this team?
I mean, I'd say I have to give. I'm assuming Perry gets credit for everything once he's hired, and he's more the basketball mind here than Mills. No disrespect to Mills, but like Perry was brought in to make these decisions. So I'm right here. Like it was Mills brought in Hardaway, and Perry was hired after, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like, hopefully Perry knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So,
but I am worried that the Knicks don't get who they want. They'll blow it on some 4-year deal.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that too.
Okay, percent chance the Knicks get Kyrie.
25.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it does seem like, and there's a lot of talk, and it does seem like he's crazy enough to want to come here. So I'd put definitely the highest of all of them percentages. Butler. The names around the Knicks are Kyrie, Jimmy Butler, Durant. Butler, what do you think?
20.
I think like 5%.
I'm saying 25 for Kyrie because I think he wants to come to New York, but I think Boston's going to be so good it's going to be hard to leave. I am saying 20 for Butler because...
Wait, Boston's going to be hard to leave? He was already on a team that was going to the finals, and he left. So I don't think being on a good team makes him hard to leave.
But apparently he hated playing with LeBron.
I mean, clearly he hated, like, hey, do you want to go to the finals this year? No, I don't.
And Butler, I could see him getting fed up playing with a bunch of guys that are terrible on defense.
I mean, like, he's a fit in many ways. I just don't see, like, the rumors have been out by Kyrie, and you really think he wants to be in New York. I haven't heard a lot that Butler wants to be in New York. He wants to play with Kyrie. I feel the only way he comes here is if Kyrie's coming here also and they're signing 2 stars. I don't see him coming here on his own.
Right. But, I mean, the rumor is that 2 stars might want to come to New York.
Yeah, with rumors is they have a third. Have you heard also there's an unnamed 3rd star also?
Is that unnamed 3rd star Kevin Durant?
I hope that unnamed 3rd star is KP because he's already here, and I don't see how we're going to sign 3. So, and Durant. What percentage chance do you think Durant? Because just because we're the Knicks and we play in New York, we pretend that guys are going to come here. So Durant.
15.
15%?
Yeah, I'm going to say because I think he kind of wants to prove that he can kind of lead a team on his own because he got a lot of crap for joining the Warriors.
And LeBron gets West Coast. I get East Coast. Like you're gonna go like the big city obviously in the West Coast is LA. Big city in the East Coast is New York. Like I'm gonna go conquer in New York.
Right.
I'm gonna go negative 15%. I think there's like it's like anti-gravity, whatever. Like there's no chance in hell he's coming here.
Okay.
Like we shouldn't even talk about it. It's so absurd. He's not coming here. Forget it. We're not the Mecca. Okay. No one's coming. Maybe we'll get Kyrie. We're not getting Durant. Durant is not going to say, I'm tired of going. He's not going to leave Golden State to come to New York. It's not happening. 0 chance. Why?
How do you really feel, though?
This is never happening. It is never. We can replay the show when he gets here, but it's never happening. I will bet you all my Bitcoin or whatever the crap you talk me into buying. I'll bet that on Durant being here. Let's do questions, Jay.
All right. So we are nyknickspodcast@gmail.com, nyknickspodcast on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, nyknickspodcast@patreon.com if you want to help support the show, and our website is the New York Knicks Podcast. And we still
don't you have a couple shirts? People buy shirts.
Not many.
Don't you have like 90 pens?
Yeah. So you can order a shirt, get a pen. It's a good deal.
How is the guerrilla marketing going?
Since I haven't left my house because I've been studying for the CPA, I would say poorly.
When you do the practice CPA exams, are you using the pens?
No, because it's online.
Oh, okay. So
although my girlfriend has brought the pens to work, and apparently people love them.
You're just giving them away.
Isn't that guerrilla marketing?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you do have to give them away. So your girlfriend's a nurse, right? So she's handing them out to sick people who are seeing our pens and then dying.
It's more her coworkers, but yeah. It's funny the way you said it.
Yes. Okay. Let's go with emails.
Emails. Mr. C writes, "Hey guys, watching Summer League, I find myself falling into the usual irrational hype cycle that is the life of a Knicks fan. Knox looks amazing, Robinson looks a steal, Trier could have something, Frank's grown, look how long we are, etc. When then you realize that we are playing our key NBA prospects and potential NBA starters against sub-G League teams and getting blown out. I guess I should recalibrate my internal hype train and remember we're looking at a sub-25 win team and question again why I'm bothering to spend hundreds of hours watching following the Knicks this upcoming season, which I know I will. Ho hum, at least I have your pods to look forward to."
I mean, the team is probably winning like 30 games, 32 games at best next year. We're going to do a lot of losing. And you're right. We were playing some of the guys we're so excited about, and we weren't exactly like lighting it up in Summer League. But also the whole overall roster, you're missing. Like, yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. You also have Allonso Trier running your offense. I mean, basically, we're talking about Knox and Mitchell Robinson being excited about, and you can be excited about those guys without it being like you don't have to win in Summer League. Winning in Summer League is not that important. And you have the Lakers Lakers are playing Josh Hart. Hart probably does not need to be in Summer League. A lot of teams have players that didn't necessarily need to be in Summer League because they're already good enough not to be there.
Yeah.
There was I heard a rumor that who's the guy in the Celtics that was pretty big in the playoffs? What the hell? Who are their good players?
Jaylen Brown?
Jaylen Brown apparently wanted to play in Summer League. The Celtics did not have him play in Summer League. But like, we would have been funny if Jaylen Brown had played in Summer League. Averaged like 35 points a game. Just like, hey guys, this is fun. Like LeBron comes to Summer League. Just want to light stuff up and win something else. Okay, go to next question.
This one isn't really a question. It's just a list of reasons why he hates Bry.
Sure, go for it.
He didn't know any of the Knicks players. He asked if the salaries are slotted. The whole how good is Kawhi thing and letting him walk for nothing, saying Jimmy Butler hasn't done anything. I'm sure he said other stupid things and stopped listening. I'd rather have Phil Jackson come back to run the team than have to listen to that jackass talk about basketball.
So should make Bry a regular part of the show, or
Bry
what?
was not a popular guest on the show.
It's funny because the last time we got this much hate was the last time Bry was on the show. Bry is a friend of ours. He's on our Brink show. He has some interesting opinions. He wanted to come on the show. We said, whatever, sure, come on. I thought he'd have some good takes, and apparently some people disagreed about his. I thought he really nailed it with good players are on good teams and bad players. Losers are on bad teams.
I mean, I couldn't argue with that. But, yeah, we thought it would be funny to have a guy that doesn't know anything about basketball try and talk about basketball, and it had the exact opposite effect. It just pissed off everybody, and we got a whole bunch of one-star ratings on iTunes. So, lesson learned.
Lesson learned. More emails?
Yes. This is just you trolling somebody who wants to work on our website. We get so many of those emails.
What would I say back to them? So I have a habit of just writing emails. People will say like, we'll help optimize your website to Google and blah, blah, blah. And so I write back to them. What did I write back, Jay?
Oh, no, this one's actually legit that wants to put an ad on one of our articles that we write, but I haven't written anything, so we haven't.
Okay. This interlude has been awesome.
Hagai writes, have you noticed Mitchell... And thank you. If you have a name like Hagai, it's really good to write it phonetically so I can say it correctly. So thank you. Have you noticed Mitchell Robinson's habit of running the basket to the three-point line in order to try and contain an open shooter and sometimes actually blocking the shot? Is this him using his freakish athleticism to his advantage, or does this show poor defensive maturity by leaving the paint wide open for a rebound and putback?
So one of the exciting things about this team is that if you get guys like Mitchell Robinson who are super athletic, is that they could switch. They can guard multiple positions, and your center in these days has to be able to guard the basket, but has to also be able to go out to the 3-point line. The fact that it looks like he can do both is exciting. And in theory, if the Knicks are playing, in theory, you still have KP. You have other guys that could also you have someone else out there basically who also can cover at the rim.
Well, the thing is, if he's running out to the 3-point line, that means somebody is open at the 3-point line.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's the other player's job to rotate and cover onto the basket if he's going to go out and try and block a shot out at the 3-point line. So I'm totally fine with that. And if he can get out there and block the shot, that shows he's super athletic and he's aware of defensively of something that needs to be done.
I mean, Fizz said he wants to be less position, like more positionless as far as you're not like a 3 or a 4, you're just a forward. You're not like a 1 or 2, you're just a guard. And he wants guys that can really switch a lot because the new trend now, everyone now is following what Mike Woodson had tried to do here a number of years ago when Mike Woodson tried to have everyone switch, but no one was athletic enough to actually do it. Now everyone wants to do this. Having a guy athletic enough to guard the 3-point line and guard the basket is pretty awesome. But yeah, you're right. Someone has to be able to take over and get to the rim in case the guy blows by him, or Nick's got to rotate basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's much better than Nick's previous strategy of just trying to stare at the guy and hope he misses. I'm going to stay here and not guard the rim. Enes Kanter, good job. Any more emails, or we go to Facebook?
One more. Curtis writes, Jay and Mark, thanks for providing hilarious free content with fresh takes. I would love to give you a 5-star review, but I'm an Android user and found your podcast on the TuneIn app. If there's a podcast rating service for Android users, let me know and I'll gladly give you a great rating. I think you. By the way,
that also means you probably could be getting all these Android-related 5-star reviews, and Jay has no idea how to find those reviews.
True, but I think you can leave a review on iTunes even if you have an Android.
Jay thinks, does not know.
Almost
Please
positive.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you for the offer.
Thank you. Yes. Any positive feedback we like.
Rumor has it that Atlanta is working on trading Dennis Schroeder for OKC's Melo contract. Wow, this is only 12 hours ago. They plan to buy him out immediately, so not play for the Hawks. This would allow Atlanta to get rid of overpaid, malcontent, and Schroeder and save about $20 million salary. Melo would be able to get the most of his money up front and then sign with the team of his choosing. Although the Knicks have moved on, it seems like Melo news will always be relevant in New York. So what are your thoughts? We talked extensively about that in the beginning of. Yeah. Talk about the Kawhi for DeRozan trade.
Oh, breaking. The Knicks have signed Melo. What do you think, Jay?
We also talked about Kawhi. And then he has.
What would your reaction be if the Knicks were like, "Hey, we brought him back. What the hell? We still have a need at the 4." So.
No.
Go.
No, that's it.
Okay, Facebook. Gilliam writes, "Who is the Dark Knight of the Knicks? In other words, the best player and definitely not the most overrated, although Jay thinks so for some reason." So I guess apparently Jay on Facebook has been talking about how Dark Knight, the Batman movie, is overrated.
It is.
Okay, well, this is not a hero movie show.
Go to our other podcast, The Brink of Sanity, if you want to ask questions about that.
But for Jay's terribly stupid takes on hero movies, because Dark Knight is top 3 easily, and how do you even put Batman Begins ahead of Dark Knight?
Because it was better in almost every way.
It's like you shouldn't even have an opinion.
But also watched maybe 3 comic movies his entire life.
So Matt Harvey in baseball world was called the Dark Knight and got injured, ended up being kind of overrated for being called the Dark Knight. So it also could go the other way. This question being New York, and the Dark Knight could be who's the overrated member of the Knicks, who's kind of a diva, because that would be the Matt Harvey on the Mets. But I'm going to say anyway, who's the best player and definitely not the most overrated?
The best player on the Knicks?
Yeah, who's the best player? I mean, KP gets the best player nod.
Yeah.
And we're Knicks fans. We overrate everyone. So the only guy not overrated on the Knicks, the only players are Lance Thomas and Ron Baker. Those are the 2 guys that are not overrated on the Knicks.
Because they're not rated at all?
because we hate them as fans. Like I don't mind them, but like half the Knicks fan base hates them. Like Lance Thomas is going to get a lot of playing time this year. I'm fine with it, but like you're prepared for Lance Thomas getting a lot of playing time. You know it's going to happen, right, Jay? He's going to play the 4 for us. He's going to play the 3. He plays defense. He's going to get way more playing time than people think he needs or deserves, but he's going to play, and people are going to be upset about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I could definitely see that happening. I mean, we'll probably be complaining by like Game 7.
Also, the minute you see once Knox shows some potential, any minute given to Lance Thomas over Knox, people will be in an uproar. Jason writes, can you please make sure to start early enough to do the Brink show also? Brian writes, we're going to be recording Brink on Sunday night. Brian writes, why are people against letting Mitch develop in the pros?
Why are we against that?
Well, I think a lot of people have said that they want Robinson to start in the G League before, like they want to give him major minutes in the G League before giving him major minutes in for the Knicks. And so he's saying, why don't we just give him like 25 minutes a game right away for the Knicks? I mean, we're going to lose anyway.
Oh, you said it before. You don't want to ruin his confidence if he starts getting stomped.
Yeah, you don't want him to get to the point where like he feels like I can't do this or this because I'm going to lose games for us because it matters, even though it's not going to matter. Also, isn't it great that the Knicks either if we're really bad, we get to add a top draft pick to this team, or these young guys play all really well and we don't get a top draft pick because the young guys have played really well, and then our future looks awesome either way.
Yeah,
we're in a can't lose season. Bobby writes, who would you choose between Hicks or Troy Williams?
Troy Williams.
Yeah, but that wasn't the choice, though. I mean, I appreciate what Bobby said. Hicks has a 2-way contract. I'm guessing the Knicks did not think Troy Williams would go for a 2-way contract.
Or they just didn't want him.
Yeah, they didn't want him. I mean, but either way, like the Knicks didn't want. But like they're just independent of each other because Troy Williams, Hicks' spot does not interfere with Troy Williams' spot in the team.
No.
John writes, need to hear at least a 30-second apology from Mark to Kevin Knox. Only fair since Jay had to apologize to Lance last year. I hope my extreme Knicks optimism has been good enough for all people that hated me for getting this pick wrong. Dow writes, the new regime is all sounding so reasonable and planned and hopeful. When will the real Knicks front office appear and race it all away, thinking that Kawhi is headed to the Knickerbockers with Kyrie and Jimmy next year? When will the Knicks return to form and like screw all this up?
I am so worried about next offseason. I feel like we're like building towards something, and then we're going to have this cap space, and it's going to be so tempting to trade a young piece or two and try and get 2 stars.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot could go wrong, but so people are extremely optimistic, and how soon will losing kill our optimism? Even if these guys are looking even if the guys are looking pretty decent, how soon do people just like start being like, I can't watch anymore. The team's losing too much.
I think it depends on how they're losing. Like, are they losing, but we're like, oh, Knox is looking like he's improving, or like, does Knox look like he sucks and they're losing by 20 a game? Like, I'm totally fine with losing 60 games next season if the young guys are showing potential and looks like they're improving throughout the season and we're showing some semblance of like a game plan.
I mean, not that winning 20 or winning 30 games makes that much of a difference. It makes a difference in your draft position. Mm-hmm. But I almost want to win 30, not 20, because I'm hoping the young guys show enough potential where they win a bunch of games. I don't know. I want this team to learn how to win without KP there, so like the team will even better when KP gets here. I don't want to play next season for the draft pick, even though worst case we get a good draft pick.
Yeah,
I'm hoping these guys look good. But I could, yeah. Alex writes, dude on ESPN coverage of the Knicks versus Celtics. By the way, just before you even read this guy's comment, ESPN's coverage of the summer league was insulting. Like ESPN had like half the time they would do it. One of the games, I think it was the Celtic game. Half the game was like a split screen where they showed I think Mike Breen was like sitting in, and for the second quarter they showed Mike Breen talking with the other announcers because they thought the Knicks fans really don't even want to watch the actual summer league game. Like, who wants a split screen when you're watching the game? It was, and then there was one game where they just started interviewing coaches. They just started talking about anything but the actual game going on. It's like pretend people actually want to watch summer league. If I'm tuning in, I want to see the game. I am not tuning in to hope ESPN talks about something else.
It was one of those things where you're like, okay, they're only going to do this for like a minute, right? All right, any second now they're going to go back to full screen, right? And then it just didn't.
They did it for so many times. It was just so goddamn frustrating. Anyway, Alex writes, dude on ESPN, we're almost done. Dude on ESPN coverage of Knicks versus Celtics said Mitchell Robinson had Anthony Davis / Marcus Camby potential. They also compared him to Hassan Whiteside and Clint Capella. What would you choose? 100% chance Robinson turns into Marcus Camby 2.0. 15% he turns into Anthony Davis 2.0, but an 85% chance he breaks both his legs in his first game and never plays again.
Camby.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the guy that's going to be
way too much risk of that, just bad stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think he's turning into Anthony Davis, but at the very least, Hassan Whiteside.
Maybe Hassan Whiteside without the horrible attitude.
Yeah, that would be nice. The Clint Capella, if he ends up being a Clint Capella,
yeah,
can be. Yeah, he's got a ton. I mean, people are gonna look back. I think people are gonna look back at this and go, like, I mean, understand kind of will understand at the same time, be like, how did this guy fall in the second round? He also fired his agent because he fell into the second round. I love his agent. His agent who told him, don't work out for anyone ahead of time, because it will only hurt you for people to see how unbelievably athletic you are.
Yeah.
Jeffrey writes, everyone keeps saying that KP's natural position will be center. With the emergence and hopefully quick development of Robinson, it seems that we have two players whose best position might be center. Who's going to play stretch four? We've seen the troubles KP has had in guarding the three-point line. Well, Mitchell Robinson can guard the three-point line, so we're good there.
Yeah,
yeah, I think you put Robinson and KP at the 4 and 5. I don't care who's the 5, who's the 4. I think that works. I think you have two guys that can be rim protector at the 4 and 5, and they're athletic. I think they can. I like it. No, I have no concern about these two. Like, do you have any concern that KP?
I don't think you need. He's a 4, he's a 5. Like, you could have multi-positional guys.
Yeah, do you have any concern about Robinson and KP? I mean, obviously, Robinson has not played an NBA game yet, and we're way crazy on the hype train here. But do you have any concern that KP and Robinson couldn't play together?
No,
it seems
not at all.
It seems like to me with KP you want another guy who could protect the rim, get rebounds. An athletic big would be the guy you'd want to pair with KP there. So, problem solved. Tristan writes, do you think signing a huge free agent next summer would ruin the development of the young players? Don't you think we should slowly build a team around KP being the superstar and not sign big free agents for at least a few years until the Knicks have built themselves into a potential contender from ground up? And two people replied to this. Nick wrote, depends on who the free agent is. If Kyrie really wants to go to NYC, which I state again that I highly doubt, you go for it. He has a proven track record. But I would stay away from Jimmy Butler if he's only willing to come here. I think if only one is willing to come here, I think he would hamper the development of the team. I'd rather see what Knox can do. And Alex writes, agree with Nick. It depends on the free agent and the role they fill in the squad. Ideally, we already have targets identified, and we just slot the guys into positions we can upgrade. Rumors are that they're already doing similar with Cornette acting as KP stand-in in training and to start the season. What you don't want is for them to miss on guys in the free agency and panic and sign the wrong guys in the wrong positions to bad contracts. Hopefully we've passed all of that, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm all for getting a veteran and an all-star if it's the right fit and if it's not a crazy contract, but I don't want them to do it just to do it.
I mean, if Durant wants to come here, you find a way to make that work.
Yeah, I heard some people say they wouldn't want Durant. I would want Durant, yes.
Did they say I don't want Durant here, and this crack is awesome? I don't know how you couldn't want Durant here, but Kyrie, I know you have questions about the injuries and all that. Assuming Kyrie is injury free next year, you could argue that Kyrie obviously is a top talent in the league. He's great point guard. He'd be like, we have a need at the guard position. Like, getting Kyrie, if he stays healthy, is a insane upgrade at the point guard position. So it would make sense. The Butler argument really does make sense. Like, if you think Knox is going to be a star, then Butler does hamper his development.
Mm-hmm.
If you get both, whatever. Gilliam writes, is there part of you that wants next year's team to be good enough that it makes it better to re-sign young guys to reasonable contracts than renounce many of them to have max cap space? Also, wouldn't need to trade Lee and stretch Noah.
I don't want to keep paying Noah. Just let it expire.
Let it expire. Do you think Courtney Lee, like, we haven't heard anything about him, like any trade rumors. Are we gonna assume that he's not getting traded? Like, is the roster set?
I think the roster is gonna look pretty much what it is now.
I think the Knicks thought there was a reasonable chance they could trade Courtney Lee. They may have held off on cutting Troy Williams. I think they're like, we're good to go. Okay, what did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that the fact that I wasn't totally all in 100% on Kyrie gets us a 1-star rating on iTunes.
We learned that it's not always helpful to add a third person to the show that doesn't know anything about basketball.
We learned that we got a 1-star rating because you didn't know how to pronounce Mario Hazanja's name. Hazonia. I did it again. Now we're going to get another 1-star rating.
It's 1-star review.
Unbelievable.
Anyway. Okay. We'll be back probably in like a week and a half or so.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. If you like the show, spread the word. Maybe leave a 5-star review on iTunes or something. Could use a few of those after our bombardment of 1-stars lately. And,
1 star. You don't like Kyrie. 1 star. You can't pronounce the player's name. 1 star. You don't think the Knicks getting Becky Hammond is an amazing idea.
Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll be back soon. I think this is a pretty positive episode. So,
yeah. If any review goes not positive enough, I'm gonna what do you want?
We'll have to split the episode in two, do a half negative, half positive.
We're always more positive in the offseason because, you have potential. We're always definitely a lot more positive at this point of the year.
Yeah.
We were not positive when the Knicks got brought in Noah and Rose, and people were like, what are you doing? How could you not like bringing in a past his prime Noah and the end of Rose's career? How could you not like that?
Yeah, that got us a 1-star too. Basically, no matter what we do, we get 1-star. So thank you guys.
We've got a lot of 5-star reviews too. Take a look. Okay, bye.
All right, good night, everybody.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.